I've had a little time to think about your comment, and this is a part two because there were things that I didn't say that have just dawned on me. It's funny how it's logical to want to hear the perspective, the other side of the story of the parent who abuses, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, whoever it is, right? You want to hear that side of the story. You're not recognizing that when I was a little child growing up, the reason I couldn't share what was going on was because the only thing that everybody was hearing was my mother's side of the story and the smear campaign that she was spreading, so that nobody would look beneath the surface and ask the logical question of what's going on here and how can a mother talk about her child like this? I was constantly running away from home, running for survival, to the point that I ended up homeless at the age of 13. And it doesn't seem like anybody was really thinking logically for the other side of the story in that situation. And here's what's even like worse than that in a way. I didn't tell my other side of the story. Got interrupted there. And there's bugs. By the way, I'm in the beautiful Canary Islands. Anyway, outside of that, nobody knew my side of the story because I was hiding in shame. And I was afraid of people like you who wouldn't believe me. So not my super closest friends, but the majority of my friends, people who knew me for decades, when I came out with my book, when I had the courage to finally speak out and the deep understanding that what was done to me as a child was not my fault, finally got that all together and realized that if people came at me like you have, and you're not coming at me personally, I don't feel like, but people do this, right? They hear a child ran away from home. Oh, what did she do? And what kind of life did she have? And how did she survive the streets? The answer is yes, I had S for survival sometimes, because when you go 4 or 5 days without eating, you're going to do anything. And yes, there were adult men who took advantage of that, knowing that that was the situation that I was in. Just for the judgy McJudgy out there, go on with your big bag self, because I'm not ashamed of that. I think the person who should be ashamed is the one who took advantage of a very helpless little girl. Anyway, that being said, I had friends, I had people in my life for decades who had no idea that I was 13 years old living on the streets, who had no idea about the CSAs that I went through, how I lost my virginity at the age of 12 when I ran away because I got in a car with someone who happened to be a rapist. Nobody knew any of that. Would you like to hear his side of the story on this one? And if I seem angry, I am angry. I'm angry not for me, but for all of the victims out there and the survivors out there who are afraid to speak out because of comments like yours. We need to be fearless in the face of people like you, because it isn't logical to want to hear the abuser side of the story. It's logical when we hear the abuser side of the story to want to look deeper beneath the surface. Because when you have somebody who is smear campaigning their own child, that is a red flag.